Now, for those that have ordered an MQB based Haldex controller, I figured, you know, there is a pinout on the website, but a video or a picture tells 1,000 words. Now, the way the MQB platform works is there's a 6-pin plug at the back, and looking up with the clip is at the top, but that's pin 2 to my very far right, pin 4 and pin 6, and then if we spin it anti-clockwise, we've got 1, focus, we've got 1 on the left, 3 in the middle, and 5 at the bottom right. Now, not all of these need wires in them, and I know this looks quite messy, but ultimately you've got an ignition live, and that's on pin 1. So that is going to be this blue cable here. So you can see that is on pin 1, and this jumps literally from one side all the way back down here, and it goes back to pin 1 on the other side. And then pin 2 is the ground. So if I find pin 2, upside down, pin 2 is this one. So that's pin 2 there, and you can see that then goes, I've got it on this as the black wire, and then this has got a splice in it, so not only does it go back to the other side of the plug, but that is then your ground, and this comes up to the MX plug, and then that will also be pin 2 on the MX plug. We've then got power, which is pin 3. So same again, I've got pin 3 and this is showing red. So that's also got a splice because you still need power to your Haldex. So that comes from pin 3 of this one, and it comes all the way back down, splices into here, and then it goes back up to the other side of the plug, and it also comes up and it goes to pin 1 on this. So that means that you've now got power, ground and ignition going to these two, and then off of the permanent power and ground, you've got that coming back up to here. And this is for the sciencey part. This is how the next part will be how the controller communicates. Ultimately, you've got a CAN bus side, and the CAN bus on the chassis side will be the male plug. So this will be the chassis side. And the reason typically is because whenever you've got a female plug, it's so that you can't short the pins out. So if you always imagine that any female plug in a car will be the powery side, and then anytime you've got a sensor, you've got the male side. And that's because if you've got the sensor in your hand, it doesn't matter if you short the pins out because it's not connected to anything, but they protect the power side with a female plug. And I know that sounds confusing, but the female plug will be already on the chassis, and you're going to connect this male plug into it. And the CAN cables for these are pin 5 and 6. So these two here. And 5 is CAN low. And because this is the chassis side, that will be these two here, which is blue and pink. And you can see here that green and pink anyway. Green and pink, because that goes, it's really hard to do on a gimbal, but these two wires go to green and pink, and then you can see here we've got green and pink here, so it's going to go power, ground, CAN low, CAN high, and then your returning two CAN pairs will be CAN low, CAN high, this green and blue pair, and these are going to go to the new Haldex connector. And you can see here we've got a twisted pair, and it connects up here. Now obviously these have got Wagos on them. This is just so that I can get an understanding of what it needs to look like. When I finally get the harnesses, they will look much more like this. So these have been properly crimped, they've been heat shrunk with the melting glue in them as well. The CAN pairs should be twisted, so in the harnesses that I get built, these will be twisted, and they are the proper gauge to match the Volkswagen connectors. So this is merely just an example of how it should be set up, not how it will be set up. There's also an accompanying wiring diagram on the GitHub. Should make things pretty straightforward, but ultimately between your two Volkswagen connectors you'll have ignition, you'll have power, and you'll have ground, and then of your permanent power and ground they will come up to your Haldex controller. Pin 1 is power, pin 2 is ground, And then on your chassis side, what I call chassis side, those two CAN pairs will come up to these next pins, so it will be chassis low, chassis high, and then returning to the Haldex again will be Haldex low and Haldex high. And you'll see this, if you were to plug it in and it wasn't to work, the diagnostic interface will give you feedback on why it's not working. So it will say CAN bus isn't healthy for chassis or for Haldex, so you'll get that informative feedback. But it's not too difficult to follow. This, it doesn't look particularly pretty, but if I was to crimp all these connectors together, I could use this as a working harness. There's nothing wrong with this methodology.